Welcome to Tehachapod, the City of Tehachapi's podcast, where we share conversations with local leaders, business owners, and community members. Don't miss an episode. Be sure to follow and subscribe to learn something new and discover ways to get involved in our community.
It's Tehachapod time. Maya Acosta, joined by members of our upcoming TCTA production, Private Lives. I'm joined by Vanessa Villanueva, Monica Nadon, and Eric Leese, all part of the cast and crew and directorial team here with the upcoming show. So thanks for joining us, guys.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Vanessa, It feels weird now that we are here talking about not only a new production, but we're not talking to each other in British accents.
Yeah.
People may know that you and I were in Enchanted April, which was the most recent TCTA production.
Yes.
And we had a ton of fun.
Oh, that was awesome. It was great. But yes, it's definitely weird to be here talking about a different play now, and not in British accents, but just talking to each other.
I know. It's like a whole lifetime has come and gone now, but it will forever be in our hearts. But I am so excited to see the upcoming show. Now I have a whole new perspective on the local theater. And I'm just really excited to learn more about it. So, Monica, you are the director for the show. How did you get involved in this show in particular?
Actually, I'm the co-director.
Okay.
My co-director is Sharon Salyers, and she started out with the auditions, and then somehow I got involved, and so we are co-directing, and especially since I have some experience because I performed in the play before with Eric Leese here. We did it before for Tehachapi Community Theater, and
18 years ago.
You had to say that. But
we were babies then. That's
yes, exactly.
Yeah. I know the play, and I enjoy directing. I'm a drama teacher at the middle school and the high school here in Tehachapi, and I direct plays a lot for the high school. I've directed many plays for Tehachapi Community Theater, acted in many plays. I've been involved with Tehachapi Community Theater since 2002. I was on the board for 12 years, ran the improv troupe, ran a summer drama camp, and just been involved for a long time. And when I started teaching full-time, I had to step away a little bit, but I have been in a play recently, Christmas Story, a couple years ago, directed Little Women, I think it was 2019, so I still keep my toes in there. But Private Lives is a really, really fun play. What some people may not know is it was written about 95 years ago, and it is still totally relevant today.
Okay.
It has had, I think, up to 8 performances on Broadway throughout the years, and it's going to have its 9th coming up in the 26-27 season on Broadway.
Very nice.
Some many famous people have performed in it before. Now, Noel Coward wrote it.
Alan Rickman
played a part recently, I think in 2002 on Broadway. And but Noel Coward wrote it. He acted in it. He wrote a song for it that some people may know, Someday I'll Find You. So there's a lot of neat things about the play, and I think the audiences here in town will really enjoy it.
Awesome. Now, obviously, we know Enchanted April was a comedy, but, it was serious as well, a dramatic, I don't know if that's a thing, dramatic comedy. What would you characterize, or what genre would you put Private Lives in?
This is a rom-com.
Okay.
Definitely. It is probably one of the funniest plays I have ever done, both with physical comedy and the spoken word.
Okay.
Lots of lines, lots of funny lines.
Now, Eric, you said that you acted in this play 18 years ago as the same character, Victor, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your character and how did you, play him 18 years ago, and how are you playing him now? Is it different?
Yes, I would say so. Victor is very, very self-conscious about every aspect of his life. He's always worried about his character, wants to be portrayed as someone of stature and strength. And yet he asks questions about, well, do you love me? For somebody that just married him, So he's very, very insecure. And I try to play him like that. And it comes off actually more human. And it's very funny, actually, if you look at it in a broader scope of how it's portrayed, because of the simple fact that he is so self-aware that he is who he is. And it can be funny at times, and also a little sad to watch this guy on stage. But it was different from the last time I played, because I'd only been acting for a few years back then, and didn't really know the character as well, didn't study him. And this time I've had a long time to study him, to get to know him. I know all about this guy.
Yeah. Now, did you ever think after, you wrapped up your first run of this show, Private Lives, 18 years ago, that you would ever revisit it? Was that ever a thought in your mind?
No, because a lot of playhouses won't do another play for how long is it? 15 years or 11 years?
Sometimes 8 years. It depends on the theater, but they usually want to wait a long time
they have a
before they bring something
moratorium
back.
that does not allow them to do the same play twice within a certain period of time. But as it turns out, this is the 5th play that I've done twice.
Really?
Yeah, it was in Little Women as Professor Bear, so I had to speak with such German accent through the play. And then 39 Steps, which I played once here, and then the director saw us perform it here and wanted us to do it in Lancaster. So we performed it at the LPAC, and it won Play of the Year in 2019.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was a crazy play. But this is the one that I adore. This is the one I've always wanted to do twice, because it's a love story, but it's a tragedy.
In a comic way.
In a comic way.
Yeah.
But it's fun to watch because the irony in it, 100 years, and people were acting the same way they were 100 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting.
Now, Vanessa, you play Sybil.
Yeah.
And I haven't read, I've never seen this show before, Private Life, so I am learning a lot more about it as we talk here today. I'm assuming Sybil is very different from your most recent character, Lottie.
Yeah. It's funny because I would constantly say that Lottie was like the complete opposite of me. And I thought there wouldn't possibly be another role that could be any different from who I am on a day-to-day basis. Sybil is definitely very different from me. Because, well, I mean, she's young. I mean, she's close to my age. She's supposed to be just essentially a year younger than I actually am. Mm-hmm. And she's very naive when it comes to just the world in general. And I think when it comes to just relationships as well, she married Elliot, just because she felt that she loved him, and he has this thing of thinking that she's just trying to get away from her mom. Like that's all it is. And the way that I've come to kind of understand her in my mind is that she's almost a version of kind of how Lady Caroline was as far as status goes. Okay. Where she was very sheltered and kept on wraps from her mom. But
the rich kid sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. And she thinks she can kind of get her way with things if she cries just the right way, then people will pay attention and they'll do it. Kind of what she's wanting. But she's also very, I think, innocent in a way. And it's been fun so far getting to learn her. I've only had the part for just a few weeks now. I think is just a couple weeks. I was asked.
Going to say, because you were originally... Wait, you were the maid, right?
Yeah, okay. So I was originally asked to take on the role of the maid.
Okay.
And then, unfortunately, who was meant to play Sybil, she stepped back.
Yeah.
So then I was asked to then take on the role of Sybil. And I was like, yeah, sure, sounds great. I'd love to.
So now you know a lot of the lines of the play, I'm sure, already.
I mean, I've gotten some of my lines down since the maid, she only speaks French. I didn't quite get the chance to memorize or learn the French quite enough, but yeah.
Okay.
I like there's one word she uses that everyone recognizes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Her first word that she says, which is great. I was talking to everybody at the cast party about it. Her first Merde is the first word that she says, and it's great.
What does that mean?
It's a.
I don't know.
Not appropriate.
I don't think it's something
Okay,
you
we'll
could
keep
say
it
on.
PG. All right.
I was talking about the word imbecile.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is true. Everyone
Yeah.
will know that one.
Okay, I'll Google translate the other word later.
Just don't.
Look, so who else do we have in the cast? It's another smaller show, right?
Yes.
What are the other characters and who is playing them?
So we have the lead characters of Elliot and Amanda. Elliot is being played by Ed Kramer, who has been in some previous shows. Amanda is being played by Amy Webster. She's been in a few shows. And our other character, the maid, is being played by Emily Agliano.
Awesome.
And so just to help out, the plot of the story starts out with two couples who are on their honeymoon with their new spouses. But the groom from one couple and the bride from the other couple who used to be married.
Oh.
And then they end up in the rooms right next to each other, and they have little balconies, and then they discover that they're in the rooms right next to each other, and they talk on the balconies.
Let the games begin.
Oh my goodness.
So the roller coaster ride that happens when they rediscover each other, and I'll just leave it there for the audience to come see the funny shenanigans and the fun that goes on.
I like it. I think this is what a great, carrying on the great feelings of Enchanted April that we had. I mean, I don't know what some of the feedback you got was from the show, but like my family were like, "Oh, this show was great. Gosh, both of your husbands were just jerks."
There was a one time, me and Daniel, we talked about it all the time, where one of the shows, where the scene where he is like, "Oh, Charlotte, like, you gotta fix the bow tie." Somebody in the audience said, "Wring his neck." And I was like, whoa!
Oh my.
Wait. So that was just a funny thing but besides that, everyone said just great things. And honestly, I think they'll say great things about this play too, because everyone's been doing such an awesome job. Everyone's been doing so great.
It's a James Carhart set.
Oh yes.
Love
We got to
this
say
set.
that.
Yes.
So the set is perfect.
Oh, it's already
perfect.
done.
Well, we already know what it's going to look
Okay,
like, but
yeah.
it's not built yet. But if anybody's been to see any of our shows that James Carhart has designed, Enchanted April,
Yep.
which was fabulous, Murder on the Orient Express,
that was so cool.
any others that he's done. So James told me not too long ago, he had a friend ask him, "Are you designing the set?" And James said, "Yeah, I am." And his friend said, "Then I'm going to go see the play." So anybody, go see it just for the set. That's
a
half
fair
fun.
statement.
Well, the nice thing is there is a blend of the set pieces, the furniture, and the actors and what we are wearing.
Okay.
We've all done our homework. All of the costumes, thanks to our costumer, are perfect. They are all period. So it's all a blend. So when somebody walks in and sits down, they're going to be walking into the 1930s. It's that willing suspension of disbelief. They're going to walk in and they're going to be transported back in time to a situation that happens today. It's, the irony. But the set is absolutely fabulous.
It's going to be very gorgeous when it's completed.
So the set, I'm assuming, is of a hotel
So the
or
first-
like a villa?
The play is in 3 acts.
Okay.
The first act is at Deauville, France.
Okay.
And a resort town. And the first act takes place all in the 2 balconies. And then we have intermission, and the set changes to Amanda's flat in Paris, her apartment in Paris. And so the next 2 acts, the second and the third act, take place in her apartment.
Okay. Very nice.
Completely different set. It's as if you walked into a different theater.
James is, the way that he is able to fit a whole world onto that stage is crazy and
Yeah.
transport the audience with him, with his vision. But like you said, it comes down to the costumes too. And obviously the actors help to portray that message of where they're at and what's happening to the audience. And it really is just a little escape to go to the theater and, forget about whatever it is that, work and whatever.
Yeah.
And enjoy a lovely
life.
show. Yes.
Leave life at the front doors and just enjoy the show that you're about to see.
This is a very entertaining show.
Yeah.
Absolutely entertaining. There's a little bit of everything in it. You see the mask of the laugh and the cry. It's definitely in this play.
The comedy and tragedy mask
The
for theater,
comedy
yeah.
and tragedy.
Yeah.
It definitely is there.
Well, I think that's what's so great about theater in general, and it sounds especially like through Private Lives, is tales that could be as old as time, if you will, still stand the test of time because we are all humans and human nature is ridiculous and absurd and entertaining to watch because you can relate or you can laugh at it or you can sympathize, but it's all just, it's wonderful. And the local theater does such a great job of doing that for our small town.
And I think the fact that this play has been on Broadway for eight different seasons and is coming up for a 9th in the last 100 years is a testament to the popularity of this particular play. It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
It is well written. And
Yes, very well written.
it was said that Noel Coward wrote it when he had the flu back in 1930. And he wrote it in 2 weeks.
Really?
Yes.
And that's no time at all for a whole
Time enough
play.
for this whole play.
Yeah.
And then,
And back then when they didn't have computers.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And then some very famous people have performed this play. Alec Guinness, who else?
Directed.
Yeah, directed.
directed it.
Well, Noel Coward himself, David Niven. Yeah, the list goes on.
I'm excited for it. Now, I don't know the best way to explain like the type of comedy that was in Enchanted April. Obviously, David Stenstrom, the director, added a ton of like physical comedy that it was not at all in the script. But the lines themselves were kind of snide, I guess. Like if you weren't really paying attention, you might not get
you
the
might miss
humor
some
in some of the
things.
things. How does that compare to Private Lives and the way it's written?
Well, you can imagine my character and Ed's character when we finally confront each other. There's a lot of back and forth, and we have a scene where we are about to fight, and I want to fight him, and he's like, will you just knock it off? There's no sense in that. And it's that type of humor that calms down the situation on stage, and it actually plays well, and people look at it like, oh my God, they're really going to fight. No, but it looks like it, and that's how we are portraying the characters, true to the script. One thing I'd like to say about the script is that all of the actors are being very true to the script. They're not changing it, not doing anything different. It is what was written 100 years ago, 95 years ago. And it's perfect.
And one thing I will say is you might say it's witty repartee.
Okay.
Or you say that. And it's very, some dialogue comes quick and it's just very quick, but it's amusing, it's funny, it's really neat. 18 years ago, I was on the board of TCT and the director was directing and he had his auditions and I didn't plan to audition. And I ended up auditioning, and when we read it out loud, I went, oh, this is funny. And I was like, now I want the part. So it was, I got blessed and I got to play the part, and it was really fun.
Yes.
I am looking forward to it. What if you were mentioning before we started recording here that the actors are already almost getting off book, and so that means they aren't reading their lines from the book, right? What's the practice process been like so far?
The rehearsal process is where, as a director, I break up the play into smaller chunks, and we call them, they're in 3 acts, but I break them up into smaller scenes. I say scene A, B, C, and so forth, and we rehearse the scenes, the smaller chunks, a number of times, and then we slowly but surely put bigger and bigger chunks together until we are rehearsing the whole play. And that's what I've learned is successful, to start in small chunks and you work out and you fix things and you tweak things and you fix things, and it helps the actors when you can do it in smaller chunks and rehearse it over and over and over again in one rehearsal and then move on to the next.
Monica's been my director on several projects, and this is how she's always done it. And all of her projects are successful.
Yeah.
Period. They're just good. They're fun to watch, and her directorial style is very, very effective.
I think that's what's so interesting too about TCTA is we have such a wide variety of talent levels, not only in what our actors are able to do, but the experience and the skills and the teaching methodologies that the directors bring. I must say, the directorial skills with David Sundstrom were far different. They were here and there, and it was very fun and entertaining.
It is very different. They're both great directors.
Of course.
I Mrs. Nadon, as I commonly refer to her as. She directed me in high school for a drama club play.
Production, yeah.
Yeah. And so very different compared to how Stenstrom directs, because he is very hands-on and
quite literally.
Gets on stage with you to try to see the vision and work right next to you. And with
you can say Monica.
Okay. With Monica, it's not that she's not hands-on, but she's not necessarily. She does get up on stage to try to help if an actor's particularly struggling with how to do something or how exactly it should be portrayed and how it should come across from the audience's perspective. But she does also, kind of like Stenstrom, still tries to let the actor get there themselves and have their way of portraying that particular scene or line, whatever it may be.
If I may add, what Monica will do is she will move around the theater and sit in the far right seat or the top left seat or the bottom left seat and watch the play as it unfolds. And then she'll direct us to, okay, you need to move out a little bit to the left. You need to go upstage a little bit because you're blocking. And it is really, she is a, what do you want to call it, a customer's director, somebody who's coming in to see the play. You want Monica to be the director of that play because she takes a very, very keen interest in what the audience is seeing and where they're sitting. There's no such thing as a bad seat.
Yeah.
Because the way that she's directed it, that everyone can see everything all the time, which is wonderful.
Yeah. It can be quite a challenge with blocking to obviously not stand in front of somebody, or where it seems fine from one angle and it's totally not from another. So that's hugely important when it comes to the production and rehearsal of the play, and remembering for the actors too, okay, what word do I move on? What's my cue? How far do I go?
And making sure you're angled in the right way, because in your day-to-day life, you don't have to worry about whether or not someone over there can see your face or what you're doing. So she definitely does a great job.
People will come in and ask me.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, from the audience's perspective, as you said, just so people know, blocking is where they stand, where they sit, where they move, and so that's what that blocking is, if anybody didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
People will ask me constantly, what's the best seat? Where's the best seat?
Yeah.
And I said, well, all 100 of it. There's not a bad seat in the house.
Yeah. Well, that's also what's so fun with the BK Theater is it's small, but it's really not that small. I mean, like you said, I think we were always debating how many seats there were in the theater. Anywhere from 100 to maybe 112?
Originally, there were 120 seats.
Okay.
I was on the board when the BK was built, and I was heavily involved with that. But there were 120 seats, and then if we have ushers sitting about 4 of them, there was 116 for the audience. But then sometimes we've extended the stage, so we have to remove a few seats at the front and stuff like that. So anywhere from 100 to 116.
People have asked me, how do you pull off a play like 39 Steps or A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum?
Very carefully.
Very carefully. But people leave the theater going, oh my God, you did it. You've done these huge plays.
And that's the magic of theater.
Yes.
And that's also the magic of our beautiful BK Theater. It's, as you said, it's around 100 seats, give or take, and it's kind of intimate.
Yes, exactly.
As I was mentioning earlier to Key, that I saw a play in Stratford, Canada, and it was a really funny play, but I was up in the nosebleed section, and I kind of lost that immediacy that we have and what is so nice here at the BK Theater. You're not right in on stage, but you're close enough that you feel you're part of it.
Right, exactly. And how cool is it, too, that there's a very high probability that you probably know somebody that's on that stage or part of the production in some shape or form. So it even furthers the connection that you have with what's happening even more.
You hear whispers from this when you're on stage. Hey, isn't that that guy. I know him.
Right.
You know,
I saw him in that. He was in that other play.
oh yeah, yeah. And there was a funny anecdote that happened to me while we were doing 39 Steps, where my character is on the ground. I'm dying, but I have to give this speech while I'm dying because the bad guy just shot me to prevent me from giving this formula to the good guy. And I'm rattling off this formula. The first feature of the new engine is a great increased rate. I'm just going off, right? And the guy in the front row, everyone knows him. He works for NASA. And the guy is literally a rocket scientist.
Yeah.
All right. And he's listening intently to this formula, and he starts shaking his head and looking at me, and he gets eye contact with me while I'm on stage and whispers, "Baloney." Everyone heard him. And that's the beauty behind this theater, is that it is small enough to where everyone knows everyone in this community, and they see us up on stage. And there are some times when people in the audience will make a connection with someone on stage. We try not to let that happen because it can be very disruptive.
Our oh dear, by the way, was during one of the shows of Enchanted April. The only time it happened was just a one time for Mrs. Graves' scene when she comes out and the lights came up and somebody in
Played
the
by
audience.
Jackie.
Yes.
Yeah, oh.
She did great. And somebody in the audience just went, oh dear.
Because she's standing at the front of the stage, very imposing.
Yeah.
And
I never broke on stage for the most part. It almost got me. I almost just started laughing, and I was like, it's not funny, it's not funny, it's not funny.
One thing that's really wonderful about live theater, I've heard people say, "Oh, I don't do theater. I don't go to theater and stuff." But live theater can be wonderful. There was the Christmas play, Charles Dickens. Now I'm drawing a
Christmas
blank.
Carol?
Christmas Carol, yes. And Tiny Tim's dad comes in to the office, and he takes off his scarf and his gloves and his hat, and he tosses them over to the shelf or the pegs to hang on, and he tosses them over, and they landed perfectly, and the audience just clapped, and it was like that was the only time it ever happened, was that one performance I got to see. And that's the fun about live theaters, is the little things that happen. Not every performance is not exactly the same.
yeah, always different. And we know, I think we decided that every single show there was something that went wrong. 9 times out of 10 the audience probably didn't even know.
Had no idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had a hanging plant during one, which
We
was
I heard about that.
crazy.
And the beautiful thing about Private Lives is that there is room for that.
Yeah.
There is room for these little things and still staying true to the script. But there's always something, a teacup will fall.
Sure.
Or, a pillow will get flung and, hit somebody. In this one, I think the last time I did this, there's a physical scene where I get slapped. In Private Lives at the very end of the play. And the first time I did it, I was wearing fake teeth. So when the slap came, I looked back at it wasn't Cheyenne,
who played Sybil.
and I looked back at her and I spit out a couple of teeth. And so stuff like that, that more physical comedy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be allowed to do that. I might cheat a little.
This director says. But that's the fun thing with Private Lives. There's physical comedy. There's just the comedy with the lines. And I think the actors are doing a wonderful job in rehearsals. We're still about 5.5 weeks out. And it's already coming together so nicely. And I'm just going to be so pleased for the audience to come see it. We do open June 13th. We run for 3 weekends. People can get their tickets at the door, or they can go to TCTA.onstage.com and pre-order their tickets.
I would go to the Friday the 13th. Just in case. Yeah.
There's some superstition either. If you don't go, you might be bad luck.
But what I love and adore is the fact that this cast, the cast of 5, is getting along so well. We're working together like a well-oiled machine. It's been really, very interesting, because not all casts get along, and that's okay. There's different personalities, that's fine. But this cast, it's like we've known each other for years, and we've been playing for years. It makes a really nice play. You can feel the chemistry on stage,
Right, which is so fun, and what a cool part about our local community theater. So we're talking about just all the great aspects of it, of course, not only for the audience to come and to be entertained by what's happening, but like you said, people getting involved and acting and being part of the show.
Absolutely.
Can we also talk a bit about membership?
Yes.
I mean, that's huge for TCTA, right?
Oh, totally, yes. Membership, the lowest membership is $35 a year, and we go up from there. And the memberships help support the theater and helps us to put on the productions and so forth. I've been a member since 2002, and I stay and pay my yearly dues. And and members get their names in the program, so you can see that. And members also get a discounted rate for the price of the production for their ticket. So membership is a huge thing, and it's not just some people are members and they pay their money and go see the plays and that's it. Some people are members and they're heavily involved, and that's what I love about this, because I've been here 20-something years, and I've seen the ebb and flow of the members. Some people move out of town, we get new people, and I'm always amazed and impressed with some people who have no acting experience and they get on stage and they're wonderful. We have some people who say, I want to help out backstage, and we have that, whether it's costumes, set, helping with the lights or the spotlights and sound, and then we have young people who learn and they become part and they learn some skills, and it's just a wonderful community. And as I said, I had stepped away a little bit because I'm teaching and don't have the time, but I jumped right back in. I'm back here where I belong. I'm in my theater family, and that's what it becomes, another little family for everybody to participate and be involved.
Yeah, I love it. And TCTA On Stage is the website where you can buy your tickets, sign up for membership, see all the upcoming shows for the rest of the year, and it really is a great resource to get connected, as you said, and learn all the ways that you can help out the community theater. Okay, so to recap again, Private Lives is debuting June 13th, and it'll go through the 29th on the weekends, and you can buy tickets online currently.
There are a couple of Sunday matinees as well.
Of course. The Sunday matinees are a huge hit. My goodness. Those are
so many people came to those for Enchanted April. Yeah.
So get your tickets early. Otherwise, they will probably sell out if you want to go to the Sunday matinee.
And you get to see me slapped.
Yes. That could be put on the marquee. Anything else, guys, in regards to Private Lives? Any other real motivator for people to go out and get their tickets, or at least put Private Lives on their calendar?
Well, I just want to say it's not Broadway, but it's a little bit of Broadway right here in Tehachapi Community Theater.
I love it. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming in today. If you are listening and want to know more about what is happening at TCTA, again, tctaonstage.com, or you can follow them on Facebook. But if you have any questions, you can email us media@TehachapiCityHall.com, and we'll get that directed to the right place. Guys, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. And thanks to everybody for tuning in. We hope to catch you back here next time on TACHPod.
You've been listening to Tehachapod. If you have a question, a thought, or a suggestion, email media@TehachapiCityHall.com. We'll catch you again soon, right here on Tehachapod.